We often find ourselves navigating life's winding paths, sometimes feeling as though certain moments are simply random,
Hmm.
or maybe inconvenient detours from our carefully laid plans. We strive, we plan, and yet, there are these unforeseen turns, these
Hmm.
moments that leave us wondering, well, what's the purpose, if any, behind it all?
Yeah, the why.
But what if there was more to those moments than meets the eye? What if every circumstance, every relationship, every season we encounter held a deeper significance? So I'd like to invite you to consider this profound question. What situation in your life right now might be more purposeful than it appears at first glance? This question leads us into a really compelling belief,
It really does.
one that suggests our lives, our current positions, our connections, even the unique seasons we find ourselves in. Well, maybe they aren't random
Not
occurrences.
just chance.
Instead, it posits that these are precisely arranged, meticulously woven into a larger design for reasons that might extend far beyond what we can immediately see. Well, this isn't about mere coincidence or, a series of fortunate accidents. It's about a purposeful orchestration, a profound intentionality behind every detail of our journey.
It's a truly powerful assertion, isn't it?
Mm.
The belief at its core is that there is a divine hand at work,
Okay.
intentionally placing individuals exactly when and where they are needed.
Yeah.
It's this conviction that God prepares us, positions us, and even prompts us.
Prepares, positions, prompts.
Exactly. Ensuring that every detail is not just random, but woven into a larger fabric, ultimately for a benevolent, higher purpose.
For his glory and our good, as some would say.
Precisely. And this perspective invites us to consider that even the most seemingly chaotic or uncertain moments in our lives are, in fact, part of a broader, often mysterious, divine plan.
Yeah.
When our understanding feels stretched thin,
Yeah.
that's often when the intentionality behind it is actually most profound.
That idea of being prepared, positioned, and prompted is particularly striking. Could you elaborate a bit on what those concepts might actually look like in our daily lives? Because, well, for many, it might feel a little abstract.
That's an excellent point. Let's try to unpack those a bit.
Yeah.
So when you talk about being prepared, well, it often involves a season of learning,
Okay.
maybe through unexpected challenges or developing a specific skill set that seems completely unrelated to our immediate goals at the time.
Like learning patience when you don't want to.
Exactly. Or resilience. Think of it as a kind of divine equipping, where experiences, even the difficult ones, are shaping you for something yet to come.
Ah.
It might be building resilience, like you said, or cultivating compassion, or maybe honing a talent that will be crucial for a future role you can't even imagine yet. Then there's positioning. This speaks more to the literal placement in specific environments.
Right, like where you physically are.
Exactly. A particular job, a certain neighborhood, a unique relationship, or even perhaps a period of waiting that feels unproductive.
Mm.
It's about being in precisely the right place at the right time. Not by chance, but by intentional design.
So the belief is that your current address, your colleagues, your community, they aren't accidental.
That's the core of it.
Yeah.
And finally, prompting. This can feel like an undeniable nudge.
Like a gut feeling.
Yes, or a strong intuition, a stirring in your spirit, or maybe a clear opportunity that just opens up out of nowhere. It's the internal or external call to action.
Okay.
The moment where that preparation meets the position and you feel compelled to step forward, it's that sense of knowing you need to do something, even if you don't fully understand why until much, much later.
Wow. It's fascinating to consider how these elements might coalesce. And this profound idea, this concept of a divinely orchestrated life, it finds a powerful echo in an ancient narrative. Here's where it really comes to life for many, the story of Esther, found in the Hebrew Scriptures.
A classic example.
Right. There's a central, pivotal question asked within this ancient text in Esther chapter 4, verse 14. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? Imagine Esther, a young woman, unassuming, part of a marginalized community.
Suddenly finds herself queen.
Exactly. Thrust into the opulence and immense power of a royal court, becoming queen of a vast empire. This was not a path she sought or chose for herself.
Not at all.
Yet, when her people face an existential threat, she was uniquely positioned to intercede. The narrative suggests she was placed there. Well, not by accident of birth or chance,
No.
but for a critical, preordained reason that would ultimately impact an entire nation. Her being in that royal position was for such a time as this, a time of crisis, a time for courageous action.
Esther's story really serves as a profound, timeless illustration of this very principle, this idea of purposeful placement.
Mm.
Her journey was far from linear or comfortable. I mean, she experienced displacement. She was essentially in a beauty contest.
Right.
And then faced the overwhelming responsibility of queenship. Yet, her placement wasn't by chance. It was, according to this view, divinely purposed for a specific time and a monumental reason, to save her people from annihilation.
Wow.
She was positioned to serve a vital role, one that only she, in that specific royal capacity, could actually fulfill. So this ancient wisdom, it raises an essential question for us today, doesn't it?
It really does.
If Esther's position, which seems so random and was certainly unchosen by her, was intentional, well, what does that imply about our own lives, our own position?
Yeah. Where we find ourselves right now.
Exactly. It powerfully reinforces the idea that even when our path feels delayed or uncertain or takes a really unexpected turn, there is this perception, this belief that divine timing is perfect,
Even when it doesn't feel perfect to us.
especially when it doesn't feel perfect to us. It suggests there's a larger narrative unfolding, and we're actively being prepared, positioned, and prompted precisely where and when we are needed, even if we cannot see the full tapestry at that moment.
That brings this ancient wisdom into a deeply personal space, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder how these vast, overarching principles might manifest in the seemingly mundane
Right, the everyday stuff.
or even the frustrating moments of our modern lives. It's one thing to hear about a queen from antiquity, but how does this concept truly resonate with the complexities and challenges we face today?
That's the crucial connection.
And there are some truly compelling modern-day examples of what this looks like in practice. Examples that can shift our perception of what might otherwise feel like, random inconveniences. Consider this. A nurse in Chicago, this was in 2024, she found herself facing an unexpected transfer
Okay.
to a department she hadn't requested. You can imagine the initial frustration.
Oh, absolutely. Disruptive.
The feeling of inconvenience, perhaps even a sense of being overlooked or undervalued. It was an unchosen situation, a significant deviation from her expected path. It disrupted her routine, her comfort zone. She
Right.
felt displaced, questioning the logic and purpose of this abrupt change.
And it's such a common human experience to feel that sense of disquiet when our plans are upended, isn't it?
Yeah.
We often just dismiss what feels like an inconvenience as bad luck or maybe an inefficient system.
Right.
But for this nurse, that seemingly random transfer led to an extraordinary discovery, a moment of profound clarity.
What happened?
In her new, unrequested unit, she encountered a patient. This patient had experienced a deep personal loss years earlier.
Okay.
And it turned out it was the same patient whom the nurse, in a completely different setting years before, had actually helped through grief counseling.
No way. Really?
Yes, this unexpected reunion, years later, in this new department she didn't even want to be in, it led to deep, healing conversations.
Wow.
The patient found renewed hope, and the nurse, she found a restored sense of purpose in her work. As she later reflected with this clear sense of awe, God had me there for a reason.
That gives me chills.
Doesn't it?
Yes.
It completely transformed her perception of that unwanted transfer, from a mere setback into, well, a divine arrangement, an appointment only a higher purpose could have orchestrated.
That's incredibly powerful. To see a perceived setback transform it into such a clear affirmation of purpose, it truly makes you reconsider how many of our own daily frustrations or diversions might hold a hidden significance just waiting to be discovered.
Exactly.
And that nurse's story isn't an isolated incident. There's another fascinating example, this one concerning a young man in Atlanta.
Okay.
One morning, he missed his bus. We all know that feeling, right? That exasperation, the immediate internal groan.
Oh, yeah. Throws off the whole day.
When our carefully laid plans go awry because of a simple delay, what felt like an inconvenient setback, just a moment of annoyance, actually turned into something extraordinary for him, too.
Indeed. And what's compelling here is because he missed his bus, he was therefore in a different place at a different time.
Right.
A place he wouldn't have been otherwise. In those moments of frustration, maybe while he was waiting for the next bus, he ended up being precisely where he was needed most.
Mhm.
He found himself in a position to assist a stranger who had collapsed nearby. He could offer immediate help that truly made a difference.
Just because he was late.
He was literally at the right place at the right time, precisely because he was late, according to his original plan. He later reflected with a similar sense of wonder, if I hadn't been late, I wouldn't have been there. So both of these stories, the nurse's unexpected transfer and the young man's missed bus, they powerfully underscore how these perceived setbacks, these deviations from our well-laid plans,
Yeah.
can actually be intentional arrangements.
Yeah.
They become what some people describe as appointments only God could arrange.
Wow. That phrase really resonates.
Doesn't it? These experiences, they shift our fundamental understanding of what it means for nothing about our lives to be accidental. They invite us to look for that thread of purpose woven through every experience, even the ones we initially resist or, frankly, resent.
These stories are so compelling. They offer a glimpse into this guiding principle. But it's one thing to hear these transformative accounts and quite another to live this out day to day.
That's the practical challenge.
Right. What does it truly mean to trust God's timing or to believe in an unseen purpose when life just feels uncertain or frustrating or completely random?
Laura.
Like that bus being missed or that unexpected job transfer or maybe a door closing that you desperately wanted to open. How do we hold on to this belief when the purpose isn't immediately clear or, let's be honest, when setbacks genuinely hurt?
That is the core challenge, isn't it?
Ah.
And it requires a profound shift in perspective. It really does.
How so?
It means cultivating a trust, a deep trust, that even our current, perhaps unchosen or difficult situations are purposeful, that they're ultimately placed there for our good and for a greater design, even if we can't see it.
So it's not passive.
Not at all. It's not about passively waiting for things to magically happen. It's about actively looking for the why, asking, okay, what is this preparing me for? Or who am I positioned to impact right here, right now? And what's truly transformative here, I think, is the call to embrace this perspective with both faith and courage.
Faith and courage.
Yes, it suggests that even in moments of profound uncertainty, when we feel most vulnerable or lost,
Yeah.
that's often when divine intentionality is strongest, most precise. This viewpoint encourages us to view our current circumstances not as accidental misfortunes or random detours, but as part of a purposeful placement.
Seeing it differently.
Exactly. Recognizing that whether we fully understand it or not, we are precisely where we need to be, even if it's uncomfortable. And this understanding, it can fundamentally change how we navigate life.
Oh.
It allows us to live out our purpose, whatever that may be in that season, with a deeper sense of confidence and peace and meaning, despite the circumstances. It's a profound reminder, really. You are where you are for a reason, and we are invited to trust that divine timing is placing you exactly where you're meant to be, shaping you for what lies ahead.
Ultimately, this whole perspective, it invites us to look at our lives through an entirely different lens, doesn't it?
It really does, a lens of purpose.
It's a powerful reminder that every moment, every encounter, every relationship, every single circumstance, no matter how small or how significant it seems, well, it might indeed be part of a larger, divinely orchestrated narrative. It challenges us to look beyond the immediate, beyond the surface, and consider the deeper currents at play. So I invite you once more as we close to truly consider what situation in your life right now might be more purposeful than it appears at first glance.